Okay. How you doing, my podcast pal? We're going to start the live Facebook broadcast in just a minute. Want to thank you so much for listening to the podcast, because you are special. You are. Been doing the podcast for a long time. We're becoming one of the biggest conservative podcasts in the country, and it's because of you, and I appreciate it really, 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 really a lot. And I hope that you will keep telling your friends about it. It's a big deal. And if you have not checked us out on Facebook, the best way to do it is find my Facebook page. Type in the search bar, Talk to Rusty. Talk, the number 2, Rusty, or my name, Rusty Humphries. There's no Y in Humphries. And if you do that, you'll be able to find me live 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West every night. And it's a lot of fun. And I hope you'll come and check it out and be a part of the fun. This portion of the Rusty Humphries Rebellion podcast is brought to you today by our good friends at Australian Dream Arthritis Pain Relief Cream. That is right. Australian Dream is an incredible product, and if you've got back pain or arthritis pain, you know what? It just works. How many products have you bought that didn't work? Australian Dream just works. You just rub it on where it hurts, and it doesn't smell, it doesn't burn, it's not greasy, and does what it says it's going to do. It takes away the pain. Also, there's a great empty jar guarantee. Use the entire jar. Take my word for it. Give it a shot. And if you don't like it, and you think I'm a big old liar, well, I don't think you will because it works, but you can return it for a full refund. So check out Australian Dream Arthritis Pain Relief Cream, Back Pain Relief Cream. We're also brought to you by Wax RX and DerMend products. DerMend moisturizing cream and anti-itch cream, also available at Walmart, Walgreens, and other great retailers, as is Wax RX at waxrx.com. Let's go live to Facebook, shall we? Just going to hit it, and we'll get started. Here we go. Takes about a minute for the Facebook audience to get kicked in, and then we'll start the SHOE show. Here we go. Start the show in a few minutes. It's going to be a good one. Check in. Who are you? Who are you deplorable from? Or where are you deplorable from? I want to hear from you. Also, share this video. Let people know that we're here. We want to go around the mainstream media. We want people to know the truth instead of their baloney. Man, I'm tired of the mainstream media crap, aren't you? Mike is checking in from Lumberton, North Carolina. John is checking in. Here we go.
Yeah, we don't want to do anything to scare your children. That's the last thing we want to do. That's a direct order. Do it now.
He's been put down, ripped off, cut open. Now, he's unleashed. Unleashed. The American insurgency starts now. This is Rusty Humphries Rebellion Radio.
It is Rusty Humphries Rebellion Radio. How are you, my brother from another mother? How you doing, my sister from another mister? My name is Rusty Humphries, and well, this is the Rusty Humphries Rebellion. Thank you for being here. If you would, check in. If you are listening to the podcast, you can always send me an email, rusty@rustylive.com. If you're watching us live on Facebook, whether it is on Right Wing News, who is powering our great podcast. Thank you very much, by the way, Right Wing News. We do love you. And matter of fact, let's put their logo up right now because we love Right Wing News so much. Thank you, Right Wing News. You guys rock. Today's show is being brought to you by Australian Dream Arthritis Pain Relief Cream and Back Pain Relief Cream. Just rub it on where it hurts. Doesn't burn, doesn't smell, it's not greasy, and it does what it says it's going to do. What's that? It relieves your pain. And if you take my word for it and it doesn't work, well, there's an empty jar guarantee. That's right. you use the entire jar and return it, and you'll get your money back. But you're not going to do that. Why? Because it works. Australian Dream Arthritis Pain Relief Cream available at Walmart, Walgreens, and any great retailer. Okay. A lot going on today. Whoa. Sorry about that. A lot going on today. It's 9/11. And first of all, let's check in. Eva's checking in from Oklahoma. Mike is in Las Vegas. Chantel is in Fergus Falls, Minnesota. Patrice is in Rivers Falls, Wisconsin. Glenn has shared the video. Glenn, you rock. Make sure you share the video, would you please? Gary is a Kentucky deplorable. Deplorable, thank you. Another Gary is a Quinoa, Texas. Ronnie is from Walberg, North Carolina. Brenda is from Georgia. Randy, Knoxville, Arkansas. Joe is in Reno, Arkansas. Scott is in, I'm guessing, San Bernardino County, California. Mike's in Arizona, deplorable. Lucas is in Illinois. Glenn checking in from San Antonio. Bob is checking in from Bishop, California. Boynton Beach, Florida. Philip is there. Denise in Houston, Texas. Mike is in Blaine, Tennessee. Another Mike is checking in, saying prayers for all Floridians. Yes. David's there. Pam's from Indianapolis. Everybody, thank you so much. Keep checking in. Linda says, I'm a Colorado deplorable. So sad about all the tragedy throughout the country. Now what scares me most are the alligators and pythons, which are probably roaming all over Florida. Let's get into that for just a few minutes. I lived in Florida. And for people who don't know, they got them gators, and they're everywhere. I mean, if you've never lived in Florida, you go, oh, come on. I mean, when I first moved down there, it's like, oh, come on. There's not really that many gators. And you come to find out that in any still body of water, there's at least one good one, maybe two, maybe more. And again, I didn't believe it. And got a nice little house, and every once in a while this gator just walking down the street, just walking. Wally Gator, he's the greatest alligator in the swamp. Anyway, just walking around. And then big gators get in people's pools, and there's pythons and lizards, and it's a mess. It is. And I've talked to people who are living in Florida right now, and it's sad, and it's depressing, and it's scary, and yes, our prayers are with them, same as our prayers are with the folks in Texas. Fortunately, that's starting to clean up. Thank the Lord, the hurricane was not as bad as they said it was going to be, but it was still bad. It was still bad. Then, of course, there's always dumbasses. Wherever you go, there's always going to be some dumbass. And, man, I don't like dumbasses. And I certainly don't like looting dumbasses. But let's play a little video of some looting dumbasses here on the Rusty Humphries Rebellion. There's no sound here. But you can see guys going into the Foot Locker in Miami. And they got families. Look at this. There's probably 12, 15. And by the way, look at the cars. These aren't poor. Okay, these are not people that are starving, right? I mean, look at that car. There's a Ford, Chevy. Look at the car, the garbage on the floor. Oh, I don't like that shoe. I'm just going to go steal something else. And then the other one right next to it, Metro PCS. They're stealing cell phones. Look at that guy just all loaded up with the cell phones. And it looks like they're having a party. Look how much fun they're having. Everybody's giggling, having a good time, going back for more. And make sure the kids are good. Now get the kids in there. Make sure those kids are there. We want the family that loots together, lives together, I guess. And it's just sad. It's just awful. Then we're going to go from the shoe store to go get some more phones. And I hope every single one of those creeps, those criminals, I hope every single one of them goes to prison. Now, there's people going to say, oh, come on, Russ, you just don't like them. It's a racial thing. I don't care what race they are. I've been looking. There's some white guys that did some looting too, and those guys need to go to prison too. It's just too disgusting. It's disgusting. Philippines checking in. Dennis says, shoot him. Julia says, I'm so glad we didn't have to depend on the little Antifa snowflakes to help in Texas. We depended on ourselves. Yeah. Pamela says, dirt bags. Dave says, no electric, boil water, but no electric means no water. Aileen says, looters need to be shot and booted out of the U.S. Glenn says, people out of power in Georgia and Alabama right now. Jamie says, Rusty, will you please say my name in Asheboro, North Carolina? Okay, Jamie. Richard says there's fires out in the Northwest. Yeah. Scott thinks I'm not getting to the topic fast enough. Sorry, Scott. Jerry says, well, the looters have role models. The white-collar folks, they get away with it. Why not? If people aren't held accountable, crime and violence will continue. I guess crime does pay in some respects. Accountability starts from the top and trickles down. Not many out there wear white hats, cowboy westerns. Crime and violence will continue until people are held accountable. Start with the politicians. Les, please don't. I'm not going to acknowledge that, and that kind of language is not cool. Okay? All right. And if it continues, I will dump that. Racial things aren't cool, and it's not what we were trying to talk about here. Of course, it's 9/11. Are you tired of talking about 9/11? I mean, it seems like we've certainly forgotten. I mean, every 9/11 we'll get pictures of the planes and stuff. It doesn't seem like we've learned very much from 9/11. Maybe I'm wrong. It's almost like 9/11's turning into a holiday to feel sorry for ourselves. I don't like that. And maybe I hope I'm not saying that in a wrong way. I've not forgotten. I haven't. I remember 9/11 very, very clearly. My oldest daughter was, her birthday is on September 12th. And my youngest daughter, her birthday is on Halloween, and she was going to turn 1. I'm trying to think of how old my oldest daughter would have been, like 11, 12, something like that. And as we were in a cab going to the airport, there was a thing that came across in the cab. It said, plane hits World Trade Center. I didn't see it. We just saw that. And thought maybe a Cessna or something like that. And then we got to the airport. And by about the time we got to the airport, the second plane hit. And I immediately said, Osama bin Laden. Nobody knew who I was talking about or what I was talking about. But we still got on the airplane because we were going to Disneyland. And then they took us off the plane. Thankfully, we weren't one of those planes that were in the air just circling for hours and hours and hours. And, trying to tell my daughter, who was just, like I said, she'd been 10? She wouldn't have been 10. 8, maybe? I think she was 8. We can't try telling an 8-year-old you can't go to Disneyland because some bad men flew planes into a building. And I went to work. I worked at a radio station in Reno, Nevada, and, did that I was on the air for almost 2 straight days, maybe 3. It was awful. And, Lori says, wow, just so much to deal with. We can't forget about 9/11, but all the talk seems to be about Twin Towers and not much about the Pentagon. Why is that? I was at the Pentagon on a 9/11 one time. In the center there, they've got a kind of a little park. And Donald Rumsfeld invited me to come out and do my show there. He was always very nice to me. I always liked Donald Rumsfeld. And he, I asked him about his side of the story because there's always those idiots. Oh, 9/11 was an inside job. Bush did it. Okay. Idiots. I asked Secretary Rumsfeld, what happened for you? He said he heard something, ran down to the Pentagon and helped pull bodies out. He actually got pretty hurt. I don't know. I just don't see a guy like Donald Rumsfeld lying about something like that. I've met Dick Cheney. I don't see him as a guy that would help plan something like that. My cousin is George W. Bush's Secret Service agent. I just don't see these things happening. I just don't. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Les says, I can tell you, Rusty, if you think those towers fell down like that, you absolutely know nothing about structures. That was a controlled demolition. Les, I don't buy it. I don't buy the inside job thing. I don't. I'm just going to try to call a friend of mine. Let's see if I can get there. He's in Miami right now. He's texting me. Earlier he said, well, I can't be on the show, and now he's texting me saying he can. Let's see if I can get it here this way. Mark. Is it coming up there? No, hold on. I'm sorry, everybody. But I wanted to talk to somebody that was there. Put in the number. I do want your comments, your thoughts. What's on your mind tonight? Or do you think that 9/11 is being overdone? I remember when I was before my time, but studying history, which a lot of people don't do anymore. Looking at, they asked Mrs. Roosevelt the year after Pearl Harbor was attacked. Mrs. Roosevelt, should we have some kind of a holiday for Pearl Harbor Day? And she said, no, get back to work. We got stuff to do. And there's a big part of me that believes in that. I don't know. Nathan's taking care of some patients. Thank you, Nathan. Let's see if I can get my friend down here. I'm dialing. You don't hear it. How's everybody else doing? Everybody good? Hey, Mark. We're live right now on the air. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you doing, Rusty?
I'm doing okay. This is my friend Mark Young, and Mark is a businessman. Are you CEO of the company that does the Zona Plus? Is that the official title?
I am, as well as a couple other companies that I own as well.
Mark's a good dude, and I like him, but he also can be a little crazy. And you live in Miami, right?
I live in Fort Lauderdale, actually.
Oh, Fort Lauderdale. And you were out there. It almost looked like you were having fun during the hurricane. What was going on?
Well, I could start from the beginning, and it'll probably make a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, I live in Fort Lauderdale, and all the original stories of the storm, and I'll tell you, if you've never been through a hurricane, there's really nothing to compare it to, man. All the original storm stories, all the original spaghetti models that were being done actually pointed to the fact that the storm was going to be heading directly at Miami. Now, if you know anything about Florida geography, we're directly north of Miami. I mean, it's about 15, 20 miles north of Miami to Fort Lauderdale. So if it hits Miami, it's coming right for us too, right?
Okay.
So I've got a group of friends down here, and a lot of them, when you're in Florida, most people from Florida are not from Florida. We're all from other places, which means a lot of us down here really don't have any family nearby. Right. So your friend circle really becomes that group.
So where are you from? You're from Detroit, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. I moved down here for work quite a while back, a couple years back. So anyways, so a group of people, everybody gets together and says, what do you want to do? My suggestion was that my parents actually have a beach house in Clearwater Beach. So we had originally planned that we were going to go to Clearwater Beach and kind of wait out the storm, because every model showed that the hurricane was going up the East Coast.
Okay.
So then we went to Clearwater Beach Wednesday night. On Thursday, all of the reports showed that the hurricane was going to miss Miami and was going to directly hit Fort Lauderdale. So we were told, point on, we were going to actually take the brunt of it. So at the time, all we were thinking was, like, we're done. Like, our homes are gone. Everything's gone. Like, this is it. We're going to live in Clearwater Beach for weeks until we can even figure out what to do, right?
Right.
So Friday, all the models pointed that the hurricane was not going to be going to Fort Lauderdale or Miami, but in fact, it kept looking like it was heading further west and further west. So when everything looked like it was going further west, we ended up sitting at dinner on Friday night, and I will say we made a very difficult decision, and that was, instead of leaving Clearwater Beach, and let me add to this, all the roads heading north were a nightmare.
Okay.
I had friends who were trying to travel north who were running out of gas because there was no gas stations available, and we ran into that even on the going to Clearwater. It was awful.
Huh.
So we decided we weren't going to attempt going north because we had no idea what that looked like.
Okay.
But in Clearwater Beach, we were at a beachfront condo, so there was no telling if the hurricane came on the beach. We were at first in line. So Friday night, we ended up making this crazy decision that we were going to chance that the radars were correct and things were going to go up the west coast. And at midnight, we left Clearwater Beach and drove back to Fort Lauderdale.
Huh.
Which was a pretty bold decision, to be honest with you.
Bold or stupid?
Well, since it's over and
Yeah.
history is written by the victors,
Yeah.
I would say it was very bold and very intuitive because Fort Lauderdale didn't get hit at all.
Huh.
So we ended up in, some really bad storms. To say it didn't get hit at all is not fair, but the eye went completely up the west coast and actually ended up in Clearwater Beach.
Right.
So if we'd have stayed where we were, we would have gotten slammed. But we came back to Fort Lauderdale, and I live in a high-rise condo here downtown. So we actually
I saw the videos. He's living pretty large, folks. Just so you know, Mark's living large.
Life's been worse. But so yeah, we holed up here. I'll tell you the wind, the storms. Took running this afternoon or this morning rather, and ran down to the beach. And I can send you some photos. It's crazy. I mean, we were in the outer bands of the storm here in Fort Lauderdale, which means we got hit, but nothing like it could have been.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, millions of people down here in Broward and Dade without power still. I laughed because I said that our building actually never lost power.
Yeah.
And I kept telling everybody it's because we're on the same grid downtown as the hospital. And one of the doormen down in my building earlier today, we were talking, and I said, yeah, well, we're on the same grid as the hospital, so we're good. And he says, well, the hospital is really not what makes them work on our power before everybody else's. And I'm like, what is it, like the banks? Well, what is it? And he goes, we're on the same grid as the prison.
Whoopsie.
Okay, well, I suppose that's a positive. So yeah, we actually were we weren't without power at all. The cable went out, so and there's some debris in the rooftop pool.
Now we're just looking at your ear and your eye right now. So look at us because you're a good-looking man. We all want to see you there, Mark. Thank you. Okay.
Oh, I'm in the car. I didn't realize we were actually having the video go.
Oh yeah, you're doing video and everything. It's looking great. So you went out and it almost looked like you were having fun during the hurricane yesterday. Is that true?
You know what I got to tell you, Rusty, and that is being from Midwest and all of the friends that I had. I mean, I had friends from New York, New Jersey, Minnesota. We're all from all over the place, which means most of the people that are with us, their families, including my family, have absolutely no idea what being through a hurricane is like.
Uh-huh.
And if all you're doing is watching the news, you pretty much assume that Florida's just going to be underwater and not going to exist past Tuesday, right?
Right.
So what's happening is all of our friends and family are going crazy. My cell phone never stopped for a week.
Huh. And
it's everybody yelling at you what you should do next. And everyone's a meteorologist.
Right.
So we're getting hit left, right, and center that everything we need to do and everything that we ought to be doing and what we're doing wrong and so on. So I deliberately started doing some Facebook Live posts. And doing the Facebook Live posts, I deliberately, I mean, I'm kind of goofy anyways, but deliberately was doing them with some elements of humor because what was happening is you saw all the comments and everything on them, but the text messages and the message and the phone calls I would get afterwards were that it really kept our friends and family away from us. It really kept them feeling better about our situation.
Knowing that it's because you guys were able to have fun, that you weren't dead and everything was fine.
Absolutely. They could see we were in good humor. They could see that we were in good health. We went outside and we showed them how it looked, but it wasn't like, news only stands in the bad areas.
Right.
So anything anybody knew about South Florida was a reporter standing in the middle of the road on Brickell in Miami.
Right.
And it was the exact same spot that everybody kept reporting from. And again, I don't want to minimize that things are not good here. I mean, we've got trees down and power out, and the beach like moved inland by about, half a quarter mile. So like A1A right now, when I went running there this morning, completely covered in sand.
Did you say A1A?
Yeah. So
Beachfront Avenue for girls wearing hot bikini.
Exactly. Bienvenidos a Miami, mi amigo.
Okay, so quickly give me a run up. Okay, a rundown. So A1A is a mess, and people are probably starting to come home, but there's no gas, right?
You know what? I will say the governor of Florida has been amazing. He has done everything to lift every possible restriction on supply trucks coming in. They were bringing in gasoline from the beginning. They actually had state police escorts bringing gas trucks across the entire state. And the thing is, I mean, when you think about Florida, as crazy as it sounds, we're a peninsula.
Mm-hmm.
That peninsula. My mom lives up in Savannah, Georgia, and that's at the southern part of Georgia, and that's an 8-hour drive.
Right.
So, I mean, to get even out of Florida from where we are is a minimum of 8 hours to the Georgia border. But I had friends that were driving up to even Orlando to get out of things, and that's only usually a 2.5, 3 hour drive from here.
Yeah.
It's taking them as much as 11 hours.
Oh my gosh.
And the cars stalled, run out of gas. People who are stopping, especially on the turnpike, because the turnpike is where you've got everybody who's able to. The gas stations are in the median in the middle, so you don't actually exit the turnpike.
Uh-huh.
But the lines were so long that they were all out into the left lane of the freeway.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy.
So,
that's crazy. Before I let you go, you are the CEO of a company called Zona Plus, and
that is correct.
And you gave me one of these things, and my doctor told me, "Hey, you're starting to get high blood pressure, and so I've been trying to lose weight, but I've been using this Zona Plus thing, and it is amazing." And we're not doing a commercial, but I want people to know about this because it really is an incredible device. Can you quickly tell us what this? It's almost like playing a video game, but it lowers your blood pressure. Is that fair?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what it is, Russ, and that is it's a fantastic product. Zona Plus is actually a device that was accidentally discovered for fighter pilots, and fighter pilots historically don't have a lot of high blood pressure. But what was determined is they figured it out, and that it's based on the way that they have to hold the hand grip in an airplane.
Because you got to squeeze it.
Exactly. They've
Right.
got to squeeze it, but you can't squeeze it too hard, and you can't squeeze it not enough. And what ends up happening is that the Zona that you're talking about, and people can read about it right at Zona.com.
Mm-hmm.
But the science behind it is that it is vasodilation, which is caused by isometric exercise. So if the hand grip is actually held at exactly 30% of somebody's maximum grip strength, the device actually increases the size of the veins and the arteries that run along the arm and all the way up through the carotid, which runs through the neck.
All right, you're getting too fancy for me. So to me, it's like, and I mean, I've been with you. You work out. This guy gets off on doing 2. What do you call those workouts a day?
You're hilarious. You're talking CrossFit.
Yeah,
okay.
He does 2 CrossFits a day. Okay, let's just. But to me, it's like you're working out, and when you work out a lot, your veins build up. So it's almost like doing big workouts, but you're doing it just by squeezing, and it's building your veins in your arms and wrists, and that's why your blood pressure's lowering. Is that pretty accurate?
So one of the biggest things that happens with blood pressure buildup is that blood pressure gets high because it can't push. Picture like you put a kink in a garden hose.
Mm-hmm.
The pressure builds up and builds up and builds up, and then if you let the kink go, the water comes flooding through the other end of the hose until it stabilizes. Much the same way when you get plaque buildup and arteriosclerosis that actually is in the arteries and in the veins, when that happens, that it hardens and the walls grow smaller and smaller, so the pressure builds up like that kink in the garden hose.
Sounds very kinky.
There you go, very kinky.
Yeah.
But if you hold the grip the way that it says, which is it only takes 12 minutes a day, 3 to 5 days a week. You do this for 12 minutes, and what it does is it actually makes your veins do that. And when you talk about, for instance, lifting weights, Rusty, let me give you the comparison. It's not like lifting weights. It would be the equivalent of lifting a weight and holding it for 2 minutes, which is a very different exercise than actually lifting it and putting it down.
Well, again, I just want people to know you're a good dude and your company's good and the product actually works. I've been using it. My good friend Orson Scott Card has been using it for about a year now and loves it. And it saves people's lives. It does. And
yeah, for sure.
I just want people to know about it. And so go to Zona.com, find out more. I've got no code or anything. I'm not trying to do anything unless you've got a discount code you want to tell people if you have one off the top of your head.
You know what? Off the top of my head, I don't have one. But if people actually want to reach out to us and submit information, we can honor that.
Okay.
Have them go right to Zona.com. They can purchase. I don't have a coupon code off the top of my head that is still active. Oh, you know what? Go ahead and use coupon Labor Day, Rusty. LABORDAY.
Okay.
That is a special we were running last weekend that got extended. So if we've got the Labor Day special extended, that's actually $100 off the product.
Sweet. Okay. Well, it's one of those things where, boy, it's expensive. No, if you live a couple extra years because of this, it sounds pretty damn cheap to me. Anyway.
You know what? Yeah. More than the years, Russ, is the quality of life that people are getting during those years.
Yeah. All right. Mark Young, good man, Zona.com. And again, I'm glad you're safe. I've been worried about you. I was watching on Facebook and just wanted to have you on. So thank you, brothers. Appreciate you being here.
Rusty.
Take care. Bye-bye. All right. That's Mark Young with Zona.com and the Zona Plus. And good man. All right. Let's go. Let's see here. We got people checking in. Myrna says, hey, Rusty, almost missed you. Thank you, Myrna. Sorry. Julia says, please donate to the Salvation Army, churches, or Samaritan's Purse. Do not donate to the Red Cross. I'm not saying don't donate to the Red Cross. I'm just saying I have worked with the Salvation Army, and they tend to be pretty good. Let's see. What other videos do I have handy? We did the looters. You want to watch the little 9/11 stuff just so you don't forget? And again, I was asking you, do you think that we've become a victim? Has 9/11 become a victim mentality, or is it something that we need to be reminding ourselves of? I'd really like to know your thought on that. Has 9/11 turned into a victim mentality holiday, or is it something that we should be remembering and we should be, I don't want to say celebrating, but remembering? I'm curious if you'd please comment right here on Facebook. I'd really like to know your opinion. Let's go and watch some video from 9/11 here on the Rusty Humphries Rebellion. Falling down. Oh my gosh. It never gets easier.
happen to the right tower. Maybe in about a half an hour.
Jetzt bricht übrigens der zweite Turm zusammen. In diesem Moment bricht der nördliche Turm des World Trade Centers zusammen. Wir können nur alle hoffen, dass alle Menschen aus diesem Turm evakuiert sind. Es gibt kein World Trade Center mehr. New York hat sein Wahrzeichen verloren. Die Welt hat ein Wahrzeichen verloren.
Still just devastating. 16 years later, it still breaks my heart. Okay. So that was in memory of all the victims. Yeah, it's still hard to watch 16 years later, isn't it? I mean, my daughters are 15 years, right? My daughter's entire life has happened since 9/11. Is it, I'm going to read your comments in a second, is it something that we need to remember in a different way? Are we remembering it properly? Are we just feeling sorry for ourselves? I'll read your comments in a second. In Israel, for example, when there is a terrorist attack, and let's say somebody's house gets destroyed, what they do is they demolish that house immediately and rebuild it exactly the way it was as fast as they possibly can. Like, a house can be rebuilt in like a couple of weeks. And it's like it never happened. There's a lot of people that believe that those Twin Towers should have been rebuilt exactly the way it was, like it never happened. Anyway, let's see what you're saying here. Going back. Julia says the Red Cross is charging people in Texas for water and rescuers for food and coffee. I've not heard that. Travis says that video is super bad. Stacy says we need to keep remembering. Jackie says, what I want to know is, how do they have live coverage if they didn't know it was going to happen? Well, first of all, Jackie, most of the first videos were shot with people with cell phones. And you're talking about it was in the morning on a pretty day on one of the most photographed spots on the planet. And people were taking pictures. And especially when the second one hit, they were taking, a lot of people were doing lots of cell phones and pulled out their cameras and stuff. You also got to remember, you're in the broadcast capital of the world. And by the time that first plane hit, it was not that hard for ABC, NBC, CNN, Fox, all those people to get their cameras up and rolling. So that's what I think. Jared says everyone involved should be honored except the, quote, bad guys, of course. And yeah, it's tough to watch even after all of these years. Pamela says it should be remembered, as should Veterans Day. Julia says these weren't Methodists who did this. Travis thinks this was planned before it happened. Yes, I think terrorists and Osama bin Laden and Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and guys like that did plan this. I do not think this was an inside job. I don't. Kim thinks Bush did it so we could go to war. Really, Kim? Really? Jamie says I never saw some of those clips. And I hadn't either, actually. Mike Ball says, 9/11 brought our country together, and we have nothing to be embarrassed about when remembering those who lost their lives. Mike says, Pamela and Kim, there is no conspiracy, just 19 al-Qaeda Saudis that were directed by bin Laden to train and complete the mission. It's as simple as that. You know, I've met with a lot of these terrorists, and I've been to Guantanamo Bay. 3 times I've been to Guantanamo Bay. 3. One of my best friends was the warden at Guantanamo. They bragged about it. They did. They bragged about it. They were proud of what they did. Kathy says, we absolutely need to remember because we are spoiled Americans and we take everything for granted, even our freedom. Many of us want to forget. This is a different world than Pearl Harbor. They are within. Howard thinks this is how a building demoed an airplane could not do this. Howard, guys, you got to stop reading the damn conspiracy theory crap. You just can't. Chris thinks that we need to have a moment of silence right now. Okay. Moment of silence. Our thoughts and prayers are those who lost their lives and their families and all families that were affected. We were all affected. And I'll tell you something that really pissed me off. I remember when, Bush was starting to get a lot of traction and people were all gathering around. We were all working together, Democrats and Republicans, and we were getting behind our president. And then the Democrats started with the Bush lied, people died, no blood for oil, bull crap. And that's what began to tear our country. No, what began to tear our country apart was Al Gore, when he lost an election, tried to steal it. Then when that wasn't successful, they turned American against American after we were attacked. And it is one of the most despicable things any human being, much less political party, has ever done. And it is absolutely shameful. Absolutely shameful. Let's get to some other politics quickly today. I never like looking at this woman, but we will. Moretta says, I still can't believe it's all still Bush's fault after 8 years of Obama. We would think we'd find someone else to blame. Lori says, I agree that the focus can get off in the wrong direction, but we need to remember and honor those people that lost their lives and the heroes that gave their lives. Myrna says the terrorists were jubilant, as were Muslims in Iran and other places around the world. It's true. Well, Hillary Clinton, her book came out today. Don't you find it interesting that Hillary Clinton's book comes out on September 11th? Not only was it, let's not forget, not only was the World Trade Center attack, but that was Benghazi Day too. And Tin Ear Hillary, with the worst political acumen maybe in American history, puts her book out today. Let's take a listen to what she had to say and how she blames everybody on the planet but herself for her loss in that last election.
Been working on a victory speech. I laid down on the bed, just thought, okay, I just have to wait this out. But then midnight, I decided, well, looks like it's not going to work.
After midnight, she called Donald Trump, the president-elect. And then she called the White House. You called the president?
I did. I felt like I had let everybody down.
Morning came,
hold on one
and the
second.
nation was waiting to hear from her.
Hold on, I want to go back. I got to stop it. I apologize. I'm messing up the video here. What in the hell is she wearing? What is this with her chairman, Mao Zedong clothes that she wears? I mean, have you ever seen anybody wear this kind of clothing? It's really weird. Oh, Rusty, you're picking on her because they're a woman. No, it's just weird clothes. It's just insane. All right, Lori's saying, oh, no, not her again. It's okay, Lori. Lori, we're not laughing with her. We're not learning from her. We are laughing at her. It's a big difference. Let's get back so we can laugh at her some more. Here we go.
Let everybody down.
Morning came, and the nation was waiting to hear from her.
I had not drafted a concession speech. I've been working on a victory speech. Our best days are still ahead of us.
And then on what she thought would be her first day as president-elect, Hillary and Bill Clinton headed back home to Chappaqua, New York.
I just felt this enormous letdown, this kind of loss of feeling and direction and sadness. And, you know, Bill just kept saying, oh, you know, that was a terrific.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. She believed that she was owed this. You owed her, just like Al Gore. These people don't expect to, you know, they don't want to work for it. They expect you just to hand them the keys to the White House. And when you don't, Al Gore has tried to destroy the economy of the United States with this baloney global warming crap. Who knows what Hillary's going to come up with? But let's continue to laugh at Hillary Clinton. Here we go.
Terrific speech, trying to just kind of bolster me a little bit. Off I went into a frenzy of closet cleaning and long walks in the woods and playing with my dogs and yoga, alternate nostril breathing, which I highly recommend, trying to calm myself down, and my share of Chardonnay.
Yeah, I have no doubt that she got pretty liquored up. No doubt. Let's see. Something else that I thought was... Oh. So see how... They just give Hillary, and she's going to get a pass for months on this book. Oh, they're going to try to hype this book. No one's going to buy it. But they're just going to hype it and make her look like she was the queen, and oh boy, she should have gotten elected. I have not watched the 60 Minutes. I never watched 60 Minutes. Ever. It's just because they can't help themselves but lie. They just can't help themselves. But Steve Bannon is an old friend of mine. I've known him for many, many years. And he was on 60 Minutes last night. And somebody posted a video I thought was absolutely fascinating on how the left-wing media makes conservatives look bad. You've got to watch this video if you haven't seen it. It is how 60 Minutes lies using visual manipulation. Check this out.
I wanted to talk a little bit today about color correction and grading, and about how it can be used to make people look better or worse on television. This is a still frame of Steve Bannon from the 60 Minutes interview that's going to run tonight. And the first thing that I noticed was that there were red circles around his eyes, and his lips looked cherry red. And I also noticed that the curtains in the background looked really orange. Now, I've met Steve Bannon, and I know what he looks like. He's Irish, and he does have kind of paper skin. But he doesn't have pronounced red circles around his eyes. That's not who he is in real life. So I started comparing the two shots of Charlie Rose and Steve Bannon to see what kind of differences I could find. And it was very interesting. The first thing that you need to take a look at is the color and saturation. Those drapes in the Breitbart Embassy in Washington, D.C. are actually the same color. Now, the lighting them might be slightly closer or farther away, which accounts for the brightness, but they are the same color. And you can see from these two shots that they're definitely not the same color. If you take a look at Charlie Rose's shirt, it's bluer. It's about 13 units of blue from neutral, which means that they've graded it into a cooler shot. That does a couple of things. It makes his makeup look less clownish, and it also knocks down the contrast a little bit. So I'm going to do the same thing to Steve. I'm going to make it a little bit bluer, and I'm also going to lighten up the shadows a little bit, just to make it a little bit less contrasty. And voila,
look at the difference.
Bloodshot eyes are gone. Now I'm going to do to Charlie what they did to Steve. I'm going to kick up the saturation, the red, the orange, and I'm going to increase the contrast. So here's the two shots, before and after. Before and after. And here's what the pictures would look like if they were graded similarly. Steve doesn't have red circles around his eyes. Charlie's makeup is subtle. You can't really tell he's got it on unless you're looking. And Steve doesn't look like the monster that they want you to think that he is. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and if you've got any comments, leave them below, and I'll take a look at them. Thank you very much.
That's
this
Peter,
is Peter Duke, Peter Duke Photo on Instagram and Twitter. Talk to you later.
Okay. Very well done, Peter Duke. Very fascinating. And again, people go, oh, come on. The mainstream media isn't trying to make conservatives look bad. Yes, they are. And it's just like on, on online right now. They are purposefully trying to squeeze conservative opinions. And so that's why I'm asking you, please, first of all, will you please watch this show every night on Facebook right here in Right Wing News, or on on my Facebook page, Talk to Rusty? Would you please go and like my page? Talk 2 Rusty. Talk to Rusty. Go there, please. Please like my page. Make sure if anything happens, you can go there and find me. It's easy to find me there. I've got a blue shirt on. This is the way my page looks, so you can make sure that this is and I try to keep, let's see here. That's my page. Please go and like my page, Talk to Rusty, Talk 2 Rusty. If it doesn't come up, Talk to Rusty, type in my name, Rusty Humphries, Humphiries, and find me there if you would please, okay? It's very important because we are being squeezed. The mainstream media is trying to squeeze us out. Social media is trying to silence our speech. And so the only way we can do it is by going around them, and we need your help. Your help is by sharing the video, by participating in the video, by doing the thumbs up and the likes and the shares and your comments. All of that engagement is what gets the message out. So please help us. Because I promise you, Facebook is not helping us. Twitter's not helping us. They're doing everything they can so less people see this. We have to go around them. We have to do this. So I'm asking you to please share this video. And please watch every night, 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West, on Right Wing News, or on my Facebook page, Talk to Rusty, or on some of our other partner Facebook pages, Team Trump, and I Support Barron Trump, and some other great pages. We really, really, really need your help. We're not asking for money. I'm not looking for donations. I'm just looking for you to help us get the message out. That's it. The other thing you can do is, if you would, please, would you please like and share the video? Okay? That makes a big difference. Like and share, like and share, like and share, like and share. And then after you've liked and shared, if you need any of the products that are our advertisers, like Australian Dream Arthritis Pain Relief Cream. Next time you go to Walmart, Walgreens, any great retailer, and you need a pain reliever, please pick up Australian Dream. It's a great product. Or if you're like me and you've got earwax, which sucks. But yes, go to WaxRx and support them. They're great people. They do a great job. Or if you're a seasoned citizen and you have skin that's drying out and it's awful, well, DerMend works. And it's dermatologist recommended, and it is steroid free, and it is targeted care. It will relieve your dry, itchy skin with this great product. So please go to Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, and find it. That's how you can make a difference. And you can also listen to the podcast. It's called The Rusty Humphries Rebellion. It's available wherever podcasts are found, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio. We're on Google Play, just about any place you can find a podcast where the Rusty Humphries Rebellion is there. And another great podcast called Blunt Force Truth. They're out there too. So those are ways that you can really support us and be a part of this thing. All conservative networks are being squeezed out. The trolls are vile. That says Peggy. Yeah. Gimple wants us to talk about why foster care isn't a bigger issue. Gimple, I don't know. I am not part of the foster care system, and that is not an issue I could speak intelligently on. So just like you can't speak intelligently coming on our thing and being a troll. It's okay. I'm not going to go I'm not going to go to your McDonald's and interrupt you while you're making fries. You know, we're trying to do some important stuff here. Trying to in foster care, yes, but now's not the time. So anyway, those are the things that you can do. And I sure would appreciate you being a part of what we do. I thank you for listening and watching and being here every night, 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West. It really does make a difference. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate you. And anyway, that's about where we're at tonight. 9/11. I mean, what do you say about it? Other than our prayers are with those families and America and the safety for the world. I mean, let's be honest. Since 9/11, it's gotten worse around the world. So we need to stand together as a world against these terrorists. Irma and another hurricane coming, Jose. People that were in those, our prayers are with you. We're hoping that the services will be restored soon and that you will be whole very soon. We need to stand together as Americans. These looters, I have no pity for them whatsoever. And yeah, shoot on sight, go ahead. Now is the time where we stand together and we work together as Americans. I don't care if you're a Democrat, Republican, hell, even if you like Bernie Sanders. If you voted for Hillary Clinton, I don't care. I care if you're an American and you're standing up for what is good. We need to do that together. And I thank you for being one of those people that do want to make America better. Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow. 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West. Podcast 24 hours a day. If you missed this video, it'll restart right here on Facebook. You can rewatch it again. May God bless you, and may God bless America. Thank you so much for hanging out. My name is Rusty Humphries, and this is the Rusty Humphries Rebellion.